Hey Life Groups, this is Joel here, and hope you guys are having a wonderful night together and are ready to dive into just kind of applying Sunday's message and talking about what the Lord maybe spoke to you guys on Sunday morning. Such a rich time in the Word and such a familiar psalm. And I actually really enjoy when we cover scriptures that are so often really familiar to us, because I think when Pastor Trent dives in deeply to these things, we get to think about them more. Sometimes they can just kind of become something we've heard so many times, and we've heard it in various situations. For example, Psalm 23, we hear it at funerals, really often, and which is awesome. It's such an amazing psalm. But I think sometimes we get used to it as just kind of a poem, just kind of a nice thing that we see written down, and really forget the true value of it as God's word to us about what a good shepherd He is, and that He revives us and He refreshes us and all of those things. And so I believe this is going to be a three-part sermon or a three-part series through this psalm. And so we get to go real slowly and just kind of dive into each aspect of how the Lord is a good shepherd to us. And eventually we get to how He's a good king, He's a good Lord, a good host to us. He sets that table for us. And we just serve such an awesome God. And so I hope that tonight your conversation is not just encouraging and you don't just come out with ways to apply it, but you're really just able to be reminded to worship the Lord through this and to worship Him. It's just another aspect of who He is as a shepherd. I love these pictures God gives us of Himself in His word, and shepherd is such a rich one. Especially when we come to see ourselves as sheep, and not the smartest animal all the time, and just very. I think that picture of a sheep just shows us how needy we are, and I need to be reminded sometimes I can't do this on my own. I need a shepherd. I need a God who will literally just grab me by the neck and pick me up and carry me through and revive me and feed me and bring me to. I love how Pastor Trent said, the Lord knows where the best grass is, the best feeding spot, just for nourishment for our souls. So I hope you guys enjoy diving into that message tonight. You'll talk a little bit about following sheep as opposed to the shepherd. Obviously, there are ways we can follow other sheep, but for instance, Pastor Trent, he's a fellow sheep like us. Yet he also, as a pastor, he's sort of an under shepherd. So we can follow him as he follows Christ, and we follow Christ at the same time. Paul even says in his letters, imitate me as I imitate Christ. And so there's a good way in which we can follow other sheep, but there are also negative ways in which we kind of follow each other as sheep and kind of end up going off a cliff, if you will. So you guys will talk a little bit about that tonight. And then just spiritual nourishment. What does that mean? How does that apply to our lives? What are the type of specific situations where you've needed nourishment in the past, and the Lord has fed you and nourished you and encouraged you in that way? So hope you guys enjoy discussing the questions, worship your way through it, find different ways to apply it to your lives. And what's so good about these discussions too, I really pray that everyone gets involved. I know some people were more shy than others. I want to encourage you, if you're a more shy person, speak up. The Lord really might want to use the way that you heard the sermon, the way that He spoke to you, to really speak to someone else. We learn so much more about who God is and about God's word in collaboration with each other, because we hear things in different ways. The Lord speaks to us in different ways, and I think we really get into the richness, the manifold richness of His word, while we all contribute something to that conversation. And so just want you guys to be reminded to be open to that. Love you guys. Hope you have a great night, and we'll see you soon.